you could actually give yourself disease. Okay? Think about Lyme disease. If an Ixodes tick attaches to you, you have 24 hours before any transmission of spirochete, the Lyme spirochete. Okay? So, pull the tick straight out with tweezers, grasp it as close or on the head as possible, pull it directly out, don't jerk it, okay? And then wash the area thoroughly, save the tick. Doesn't always make sense, but even in the rare event that we find a tick that's positive for a disease that came off a person, doesn't mean the person actually got the disease. Okay? Happens that way. So, do your tick check, no worries. Next slide. Oh, and by the way, you can send the tick to me, and we'll identify it. And if I think it's worth testing, I'll send it up and get tested, especially if you get sick. Tick-borne relapsing fever. This is the one. Are the Crestview guys all on fire somewhere? Or something? Crestview Fire Station. You guys had a couple of cases of tick-borne relapsing fever there. All right, these ticks are not hard ticks. These ticks are different. They're very small, okay, hard to see. They live near the nests of birds, chipmunks, that sort of thing. Walloids, okay, or in pine trees, down in the ground, in ground squirrel nests. They'll fall on a log, or there's a rodent nest. Okay, so if you like to sit down and take your lunch on a log, okay, you're putting yourself a little bit at risk. Because what happens is, these guys only feed for about 15 minutes, all right? And then they're done. And in that 15 minutes, they can, and they do pass the tick-borne relapsing fever spirochete, which is closely related to the Lyme spirochete, but for some reason it's much more easily treatable. And every year we get cases. Last year I had one down in, that's one. It's across from Thomas Place, Sunny Slopes. Yeah. And I've had a couple cases there over the years. So, tick-borne relapsing fever, it's a big one up here. Anybody here have it? You have it. I'm sorry, what's your name? Leslie. So Leslie can give you all the information you need to know about tick-borne relapsing fever. Is your bed away from the wall now?
Actually, I was in the tent.
Oh, you were in the tent?
I was in the 1,000 line. Yeah, there was dead and down logs everywhere.
Everywhere.
And I sit on them.
Yeah. These ticks, if they're normal hosts, the chipmunk or a bird or whatever is gone, they're going to actively search. They're not like the hard-body ticks that just kind of sit on a piece of vegetation and wait for you to walk by. These things find some carbon dioxide trail and they follow it. Okay? The case down in Sunny Slopes, the tick was down under the house. Okay? A rodent had chewed a hole through the ductwork and into the heating vent right behind the bed. And my hypothesis is that the tick followed that vent up and there's the bed. And the bed was right up against the wall. It had, the covers, the bedspreads that touched the floor. All the worst things that you can have, okay, for tick-borne relapsing fever. All right, they had everything there, and it was actually a pretty easy case to discover where it came from. Next slide. So that's kind of what the tick looks like. Here's the favorite food and reservoir for the bacteria. Next slide. There's the old Crestview Barracks, no longer exists. Was anybody on that fire? They burned it down because the infestation was so bad. Okay. Couldn't save it. Couldn't save the barracks. Next. And you find chipmunks, the seroprevalence of this spirocheted chipmunks is close to 1 out of every 3 chipmunks. Okay, next. Leslie can tell you all about it. How many relapses did you get? One? Just one. Well, so is the initial disease.
I was really sick for a couple days. I hiked out, went to the hospital, and they diagnosed it.
Were you better by the time you hiked out? Or?
No, I was severely dehydrated by that time. Yeah. And I spent the night in the hospital.
Yeah. And the reason is, if you think you have TBRF, the short acronym for tick-borne relapsing fever, if you think you have TBRF, you have to be treated in a hospital. If a doctor just gives you doxy, some antibiotics and send you home, don't go, because and you shouldn't have that. I mean, up here, the doctors up here are really well versed in vector-borne diseases, most of them. Okay. The reason they have to keep it in hospitals is when they give you the antibiotic, there's this, it can happen, it doesn't always happen, but as the bacteria is being killed by they release a toxin. And if that toxin can overwhelm your liver, it's called the Yahr-Hertzheimer reaction, you can go in shock. Okay. So they have to keep you in the hospital and watch you. But if you don't get treated for the disease, Leslie, she could have not gone to the hospital in theory, maybe got better at home. Some people do. That's your first time. Okay. Then it comes back. Because what's happened is your body fought off the infection. Kind of. The bacteria has these proteins on its outer surface, and they change. And that's what your body is recognizing. Okay? These antigens. Right? So it produces antibodies, attacks it. Well, you get sick again. You get violently ill again. Very sick. Felt like you're going to die, didn't you? Yeah. Get a second time, you're already dehydrated from the first time. You're probably going to end up in the hospital the second time if you do it the first time. And then they'll probably find it and treat you. But it's a really serious disease. I know one person who got about a third relapse. And it's a guy down in Mount Wilson Observatory. And the physicians in Los Angeles that he went to said, because he did the research and he figured, I think this is what I have. He went to the doctor and they said, nah, we don't have that. And we do. So don't let a doctor say it's not. Okay, next. What's the risk? Well, if you live in a cabin or you go hiking and you sleep outside, okay? But especially structures that aren't rodent-proof. Even worse are structures that were not rodent-proof, became rodent-proof, and they never removed all the nesting materials from the wall boys or the nesting material. Okay? That's when you keep the rodents out, and they had been in there, and there's nesting materials, you're probably going to have ticks. They're going to find an alternate host because they can't get to that rodent anymore. It's not in there. Or that bird. Right? So we have to remove the nesting material at the same time. It used to be between 4 and 9 or 8,000 feet. You can go above timberline, obviously. You're at 10,000 plus? Just below 10. There was a case up at the TDRF case up at the research station over in the White Mountains. Oh, okay. And that's over 10,000 feet. So, yeah. So it doesn't have to be tree line. It can be above tree. Next. And like I said, risk reduction would just keep the rodents out. That's your best option. Move your beds away from walls. Can't remove all the rodent nests and everything. At least get your beds away from walls. Don't sleep on the floor. Okay? That's another big risk factor, sleeping on the floor. So really, just don't be so. Next. So, stay informed. Be aware of your surroundings. And don't be just concerned about you. Be concerned about your coworker too. Okay? If you see mouse feces, spritz it down with some disinfectant and clean it up. Just do it. Okay? Don't take any chances. All right, and if you're ever in doubt, I have business cards up here. Feel free to call me. You guys pay half my salary. Or not. Might not happen in a couple of years. The way budgets are going. But right now you pay half my salary, and even if you guys didn't pay my salary, still call me. I'm interested in the things that go on here. I'm interested in keeping you guys safe. Thank you for your attention. Thanks. Scary stuff. Slide. There's tons of information out there. Wikipedia is good, but you can even learn more at our website. And obviously the brochures here. I'll leave it to you. Yes?
So can I ask one question about the high-risk areas for tick and rodent control? Are you recommending a pest control company to come in and check?
Yes. Yeah, get a professional pest control operator if you think you have a bad infestation in the structural in the building. Now, on campgrounds, call me. I'll help you guys out.
And can I also mention to everyone that if you find a rodent, please don't put it in our refrigerators.
Yeah, don't put it in your food refrigerator. You know, if you have a little cooler or something, you know, really what we just